listening, Mrs. Fulham?
Yes, of course I am, Mrs. Skinner.
Oh, you should pay attention, my dear. After all, you were the only one of us not present.
And Mrs. Skinner is so obviously dying to tell you.
Oh, do be quiet, Sylvia. We're not here for stupid female gossip. We're here to galvanize ourselves into action.
But I'd much rather listen to gossip. It's so much less exhausting.
Lady Arkwright, would you like one of these little cakes? Have I forgotten anything? Now, what is it I'm to be told?
Well, last evening at the regimental ball, Miss Gordon was assaulted.
Assaulted? Assaulted is exaggerating a bit.
We all know about the loose society from which you've just come, my dear Sylvia. But here, I'm happy to say we have kept our standards.
She was indeed assaulted. She was fondled and kissed against her will. If that's not an assault, I don't know what is.
There's much too much of it, I say.
Against her will, whoever by?
You'll hardly believe it. It was that new man.
Dr. Clark.
Harry Clark.
From the hospital. One of the house physicians.
I'm afraid I don't know him. Would anyone care for more tea?
Augusta Fulham, you're not paying attention.
Yes, Mrs. Skinner.
She had gone to the balcony.
Her breath of fresh air.
Or at least that's what she says.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
And he suddenly assaulted her.
Without any warning.
He'd been drinking.
I saw him tippling brandy all evening.
Then he started kissing her and even tried to unbutton her dress.
She escaped, thank goodness.
I rather admire a man of action.
That's your opinion. I say he must be taught a lesson, which is why we're here. Will none of us be safe in our beds? Something amuses you, Sylvia.
But isn't it for the men, our husbands, to...
Men?
We left it to them.
They just laughed. Thought it was all a huge joke.
Mine didn't laugh.
But he didn't do anything. So tonight at the palace, it must be one of us.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
You have a pack of cards, Mrs. Fulham.
Yes, I think so.
Then perhaps you fetch.
We don't need cards. I'm happy to volunteer.
No doubt.
Well, after all, I am the youngest.
I'm afraid they're not very new.
Whoever draws the ace of spades is to teach Dr. Harry Clark a lesson he won't forget.
Please, not me.
But how, Lady Arkwright?
By pretending to lead him on.
In a word, flirting.
And the moment he starts his degrading advances,
When he lunges into his attack.
whoever it is must make such a fuss
Rape! Save me!
that the men will simply have to do something.
Make an example of him.
The ace of spades is to be our Jezebel of the evening.
Oh, thank heavens it wasn't me. A policeman's wife can't flirt.
Well, I think it's a silly idea.
Our safety is in your hands, Mrs. Fulham.
Our very reputations.
But I can't, I couldn't. I'm not even going to the palace this evening.
You've surely been asked.
My husband won't go to parties. He hates society. You know that.
Tonight he'll go. Ask him especially. You'll make him.
No, really, I couldn't. It's just...
I would like some more tea, please.
It's quite out of the question.
Now, Augusta, what will you wear?
I can't go. I shan't go. I couldn't do it.
You must, my dear.
You've been chosen.
By the cards. It's fate.
Ah, hot water.
I'm convinced the monsoon will be a little earlier this year.
I have to go down to Delhi at the end of the month. Let me know if I can shop for you.
Well, I'm desperate for some good new novels to read. If the bookshop has a new consignment.
Give me your list, my dear. It's the best bookshop in the whole of India.
She's not here. I've looked everywhere.
She must be. Now I've lost him. He was ogling Mrs. Fanshawe.
Oh, she won't make a fuss.
Oh, dear. Where are you, Augusta?
Don't you feel well, dear?
I'm all right.
Because we don't have to go if you don't want to.
After all that nagging, I'm determined to go. Especially now I'm all dressed up like this. You're so beautiful, Gussie.
It's the dress.
The dress is beautiful because you're beautiful.
Edward, I shall begin to suspect your medicine tastes of whiskey.
You know, Gussie, you're so magnificent. Tonight I think I could enjoy even the boredom of the palace ball.
Ellen, where have you been?
I can't stop now.
She's here. I've seen her. Right. Now, Mrs. Skinner, you find him. What shall I say? Tell him Augusta Fulham is here. Say she's a bit fast. That'll interest him. Sound disapproving.
I hope she manages to convince him.
Good evening, Bertie.
Edward, I haven't seen you at a party in years. You deprive us of dear Gussie. You really shouldn't deny us the pleasure.
You try to flirt with my wife?
I think I'm allowed to. Gussie and I are the oldest inhabitants.
How very ungallant.
He's quite right, Edward. Bertie's been here for years and I was born here.
Good evening, ladies.
Augusta?
Now that you've got me here, I suppose you'll force me to dance.
No, Mr. Fulham. First, I want a word with your dear wife. Just a little word.
Damn women's gossip. We're superfluous as usual.
Good, let's have a drink.
You're late.
I think I ought
Augusta,
to...
you're not frightened, are you? Because if you are, I would willingly take your place.
Sylvia, the balcony's empty. We've seen to that. Go out and wait.
No, please. Or just give me a moment.
No, we'll send him out.
We won't be far away. But
And do encourage him. We'll be waiting. Go along.
Good evening. You're alone.
Yes.
Then why don't you join me?
Thank you, I'd rather not. Why don't you join me?
Rotten party. Though I dare say the old wog don't know the difference.
Some people think the Khan a great gentleman.
He's got rotten taste in women. Anyway, he can't be a gentleman. He's not English.
He went to Eton and Oxford, Mr.
You're by far the best I've seen. I went to Harrow and Cambridge.
Have you been in Meerut long?
No. If I had, I'd have seen you before. You're dashed handsome, if I may say so.
You may say so.
Do you know why I find you so attractive?
No, why?
I like a touch of the tar brush in a woman. Now, don't pretend you need coaxing.
Oh, please let me go. Please, let me go. It's a mistake. I can't.
I don't think the lady cares for you.
I think that's for her to say.
Now, cut along without any fuss as a good chap unless you want a good hiding, and you don't want to spoil the evening for everyone, do you? It encourages men if you stand alone.
He was drunk.
It does happen. We all get drunk sometimes. I get drunk quite often myself.
Oh, you're just being charitable.
In this confounded outpost, we need all the charity we can muster.
I'd better be getting back to my friends. They'll be wondering.
You don't live in Meerut?
Oh, yes, I do.
Or I'd have noticed you. Miss
Mrs. Fulham.
Harry Clark. Dr. Clark, if we're being formal.
You are Dr. Clark?
Gussie! I wondered where you were. Harry, how nice.
Hello.
You know each other.
Your husband checks the hospital accounts. I spent my first week here cooking the books for him.
Shall we go inside?
As you wish, my dear. It's cooler out here. I just came to see you were still enjoying yourself, not too bored.
Edward,
Excuse me.
May I ask you for a dance, Mrs. Fulham?
If you wish.
May I take your arm?
Yes. Poor Edward hasn't been very well lately.
He's seen your own doctor.
Oh, yes, Dr. Fisher. He says it's age. And the heat, of course.
When do you go back to England?
Oh, I've never been. I've never been further than Delhi. We were supposed to go last year, but Edward couldn't be spared. I think he must have taken his medicine. It always makes him dozy.
What medicine?
Overton's tonic powders. Dr. Fisher sends to London for them. I think they're doing him some good.
Well, so long as it doesn't take too many.
One a day.
Well, that should be all right. Thank you for inviting me to luncheon.
We don't see many people. We never have.
Aren't you a bit lonely?
I've never thought about it. Yes, Salma?
Carriage here, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, Salma. Edward? Edward?
What time is it?
It's 3 o'clock. The carriage is here.
Ooh, so sorry. Forgive me, Clark. Dozed off. Sign of old age.
Well, I must be getting along.
Oh, no need. Stay and talk to Gussie. Does her good to see an intelligent face after all those clacking women. Won't be long.
Excuse me a moment. I need some more silk.
When I was a little boy, I used to match silks for my mother.
Then you can match these for me.
It's too dark in here to be sure.
Let's take them outside.
No. Where's he gone?
Gone?
Your husband?
To Chindi. Auditors don't just sit in offices, you know.
How long will he be gone?
I've no idea. It all depends.
You mean you're afraid to say?
The journey to Chindi and back takes 4 hours.
A lot of things can change in 4 hours.
I don't want to change things.
Do we have the choice?
You have the reputation
Of a
being...
womanizer, but it's true. Was true. I'm in love with you.
That's not possible.
Yes, it is. All last night I couldn't sleep. I'm in love with you.
I with you. I think. I should be very shocked.
I'm happy. You should be very happy.
At myself.
How long have you been married?
Ages and ages.
Do you love him?
I love them both. I have a daughter. She's at school. She's quite grown up.
You're beautiful. Do you wish we'd never met?
I was happy.
Do you wish we'd never met?
No.
When shall we meet again?
Tomorrow.
On the day after tomorrow.
Every day. Until you get tired of me.
Then I'll see you for the rest of my life.
Can I come in?
There's a chair there. Bring it over.
Are you feeling better, Lady Arkwright?
I shall by the end of the week, so they tell me, and I hope they're right. How sweet. Put them over there on the table by Mrs. Skinner's, and I'll ask Nurse to bring a glass for them later.
I brought those because they always remind me of home.
I love them. Your English garden is famous.
Oh, I've been making some lavender sashes. I'll bring you some when you're home again.
Young Sylvia Bushman was here. You've just missed her.
My husband has a varicose vein just like you. He's not brave enough to have it out.
Augusta Fulham hasn't been to see me.
I expect she's busy.
Doing what?
Well, she never was one for going out and about, was she? And I hear Edward takes a lot of looking after.
Sickly man. I doubt if he'll make old bones.
Have you seen anything of that doctor?
If you mean Dr. Harry Clark, I have not. I wouldn't allow him to lay a finger on me.
He's given no more trouble, has he? Not since that night Augusta disappointed us. Do you think she frightened him off?
Perhaps he has his hands full.
I'm told Dr. Harry Clark is hardly ever here.
Oh, where is he then?
Oh, thank you, Salma. Don't come until I ring for you.
Very well, ma'am.
I'll see who it is.
Augusta, expecting? You look quite disappointed just to see me.
What nonsense. It's a pleasure to see you. Why on earth should I be disappointed?
If this were London, I'd suspect the worst.
The worst?
Yes. I'd think you were expecting a handsome lover. Do I shock you?
Well,
in London, lovers are quite the rage. It's also very proper out here. No one ever does anything wicked.
Is there something you wanted, Mrs. Bushman?
Oh, Sylvia, please. But no one's seen you, my dear, for, well, what is it, 5, 6 weeks?
I've been very busy.
Well, of course you have, but we did think you might visit Lady Arkwright. You know she's in hospital.
No, yes, I did, but I...
Well, as long as you're all right, that's all that matters. Ah, here comes your dear husband.
Gussie.
I was mistaken. What a busy social life you lead, Augusta dear. I must be getting home. I wouldn't want my husband to think I was up to mischief, would I?
Dr. Clark is looking after Edward.
What a very nice change from dear old Dr. Fisher. Good day, Dr. Clark.
She knows.
How can
She's a guest. I felt more watching me, counting the times you visit me.
Well, does it matter?
Of course it matters. Do you think they could resist telling Edward?
You want to stop seeing me?
I don't think I could.
Neither could I.
But I don't want to hurt Edward. Or my daughter. She'll be home from school soon. Couldn't we meet at your place sometimes?
No, Gussie.
But even the servants are watching me here. If we're careful,
No,
Harry...
Gussie. There's someone else.
Who?
My wife.
Oh, God. How ridiculous.
You didn't ask.
And you didn't say. Do you love her?
Of course I don't.
Did you ever?
No.
Then why did you marry her?
Well, it was her price.
What for?
Oh, helping me, financing me. But for her, I wouldn't be a doctor.
Do you make love to her?
Not since I met you.
Doesn't you wonder why?
Well, she doesn't care. Perhaps she has nothing.
You don't know.
I don't care. Only about you. It's still the same, Gussie.
As long as you don't love her. Oh, Harry. I want you so much. I want you all the time. Always. All to myself. Edward, you startled me.
I assumed you were having a little sleep, my dear. I didn't want to wake you.
Oh, you should have done. Why are you so early?
I'd have been even earlier if I hadn't bumped into that Bushman woman.
Sylvia, what did she want?
Oh, I don't know, gossip about hospitals, varicose veins.
Would you like some tea?
Not yet. I don't feel that well. I think I'll have a tonic powder.
But you've already had one today. Dr. Fisher said...
One more won't hurt. My system's getting used to them.
I'll get you some water. Isn't it funny how a simple tonic powder can be harmful?
No? I expect it's because they contain a trace of arsenic. That's what Fisher says.
Oh, you haven't got many left.
Tell me, Gussie, have I been a good husband? Tell me, Gussie.
Tell you what?
Have I been a good husband?
Yes, of course you have.
A good old husband.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want you to promise never to see or communicate with Harry Clark again.
Harry Clark? You mean Dr. Clark?
Yes, I do, Dr. Clark.
Why on earth should I want to see him?
Because he is your lover, It makes me feel ridiculous.
Makes you feel... You must be mad. How could you think
No,
such
I'm not mad. If you don't promise, or if you break your promise, I shall arrange to go home to England. You always wanted to live in England. I wonder if you still do.
Yes, of course I do. Dr. Clark...
Please, Gussie, a simple promise and there's an end to it. You'll never see him again. I've the right to ask it. Please, allow me the right to ask it.
Never to see him again?
Yes, just that.
Your accusations are absurd and cruel.
Your behavior is cruel, but it's over and done with. We can forget it, if you promise.
Never to see him again?
That's all.
Then I promise.
Thank you.
You're not looking very well, Edward. All these silly imaginings don't help.
On the contrary, I feel better. You'll be surprised how very much better.
No kidneys.
It's Friday. There's a letter for you. I was beginning to worry. You used to have so many letters. I thought all your ladies had dropped you. She doesn't use scent. Such confidence is rather alarming.
How do you know it's a woman?
Oh, the handwriting, large, round, and florid, indicating an extravagantly passionate nature. I should be careful, my dear.
Kate, I'm in love with her.
Well, that makes a nice change. Does she love you?
Yes.
Well, it had to happen one day. Even to you. You really should eat more, even though it does taste remarkably horrid.
You're an extraordinary woman, Kate.
Now, my dear.
You don't ask anything. Any other woman would be...
Well, I've given up being a woman. There's no future in it. There is one thing. If you're so very much in love, why haven't you... Or is she married?
Yes.
Well, I must admit I'm rather glad. It saves me a great deal of bother and inconvenience.
Kate.
You should have been at the hospital 5 minutes ago.
Kate, listen.
If you annoy Matron by being late for rounds, you get a wintry smile. The nurses go through a hell of a day. I remember. Don't forget your letter.
Gussie, I can't. I'm not his doctor.
But he's your friend. And he's my husband. He's as sick as a dog this morning. Dr. Fisher came round. The first thing he did was to forbid him any more Overton's powders.
Well, then you'll have to abide by his decision.
But it's the only thing that helps him. He begs me for them. What am I to do?
Gussie, I'm sorry. Dr. Fisher knows best. He'll give him something else.
Of course, now he's home, it means...
Means what?
Your wife. My husband. It means we won't be able to meet. It's impossible.
You've changed.
I don't think so. I love you, with my heart and mind and body. But things have become complicated, Harry. I never was happy with complications, even when I was a child. It's my Indian blood. We're very direct people.
But just because he's sick
He
is no
knows
reason to...
about us. He was probably watching us through the keyhole yesterday afternoon. Imagine watching us yesterday afternoon. You do remember yesterday afternoon, don't you?
And what did he say?
I'm never to see you again.
And what did you say?
I agreed.
But you can't. You can't live without me.
I know. And so I might die. Or he might. He's old and sick. And we're young and we love each other.
You know what's in those Overton powders, don't you? Is that what you mean?
I don't mean anything. I just want to help him because if he's happy, we can be happy.
Dr. Fisher mustn't find out.
He won't. He knows I'm only thinking of Edward.
Let's go.
And I shouldn't have come.
When will I see you?
I'll arrange something. I'll write to you.
Yes, please write. I love your letters. I love you, Gussie.
I'm sorry, Gussie. Shh. I should go to England. get better there.
We won't even talk about it until you're better.
I'm so tired, Gussie. So tired.
I can't bear it without you. Life is meaningless without you. Edward's illness gets worse every day. Oh, soon Harry will be together for always. Soon, my darling, soon.
Bad news.
No.
It's quite a change having you around the house. I'm not used to it. Is your love affair over?
No.
Oh, then there are problems. Her husband? Poor old Harry. I never did like husbands myself.
Edward, it's another day. Time for your medicine. Edward, your tonic. You must try and help yourself. Edward, speak to me. Speak to me.
I didn't think I'd see you. I've been at the hospital all night. What's the matter?
It's Edward.
He's not...
He's paralyzed. Dr. Fisher said it might happen. He's paralyzed, Harry. He can't speak. He can't even move.
God, that's terrible. You must send for Fisher at once.
No, Harry. It's not terrible. It's wonderful. He can't stop me seeing you. Oh, Harry, it's been so long.
Gussie, not here, not now.
Here, darling. Now, please, Harry. It's been so long. I can see us. He's watching us through the looking glass.
I'll shut the door.
No, let him see. Let him see. It doesn't matter anymore. He's old. He's forgotten what love is. Let him see.
There we are, old chap. We'll have you up and about again in no time.
I don't think he can hear you, Doctor.
Perhaps we can have a word, Mrs. Fuller.
I'll be out in a moment. Look after him, Mary.
Don't worry, Daddy. You'll soon be better.
Doctor, you must tell me the truth.
I wish I could. Mrs. Fulham, I've been your doctor now for a long time, but I'm afraid your husband's present condition baffles me completely.
Doctor, you know I have absolute faith
He
in
can
you.
hear and he can see, but he can't speak, and I don't know why.
You're not trying to say it's...
I'm saying I've been in India for over 30 years, and there are still things about tropical medicine which I don't understand and never shall understand. There's some condition, some disease, but what in the world it is, I don't know.
Oh, he's been tired before. He's had terrible lassitude
He
every
hasn't had any more Overton's powders, has he?
Not since you stopped them.
Oh, it can't be that. I'm sorry to appear so useless, Mrs. Fulham, but sometimes with a difficult diagnosis it can take a
The
long
important thing is, Doctor, what can I do for him?
I think for both your sakes, we ought to get him into hospital as soon as possible.
Oh, no, I must nurse him. You must
Really,
nurse
Mrs.
him.
Fulham, in this sort of case, hospital care is the best.
No, Doctor, I couldn't bear not to look
I
after
know
him.
there's nothing very special about our local hospital, but with the new...
Hello.
Yes, Mrs. Fulham?
Oh, you meant the local hospital. I thought you meant Agra or Delhi.
Oh, no, I'm afraid he wouldn't stand the journey.
Then I think perhaps the local hospital is a good idea. He'll be near and I can visit
I'll
him.
make the arrangements then. A private room, I presume.
Or private room, of course, Doctor.
Good.
And, Doctor, nothing is too good for Edward. Please see everything is done for him.
Of course, of course. I think the dear old chap will be much happier there.
Are you happier, Edward?
I'm sure he is. Mother, I'm sure his hand moved.
No, darling.
Oh, just a very little. I don't want to go back to school until he's better.
Well, we'll see about that later. Edward, I shall come to visit you every day. I just hope you feel happier here, and that you feel safe and in good hands. Of course you do. Ah, here is your new doctor. Say hello to your new doctor, Edward.
It moved. His hand did move.
I think you should leave him now, Mrs. Fulham.
Yes, of course, Doctor. Come along, Mary. We don't want to waste our visits, do we? I shall come every morning, and you every afternoon. I don't mind being alone in the afternoons.
You're going to be all right, Edward. I'm here to look after you.
I suppose that means you're tired of me.
Gussie. Gussie, I'm sorry.
Don't touch me.
I can't. I'm a doctor.
And you're my lover. And that's more important. And I'm your lover. Do you think I've done all this, taken things so far, he's almost dead?
But you're asking me to do something that's impossible.
It's not impossible for me.
Gussie, I can't kill.
I haven't left you much to do.
I'm sorry.
Where are you going?
I do love you.
I love you.
Adore you.
Will you do it? Will you finish it? For my sake?
Not even for you, Gussie.
Let's talk about it tomorrow.
I don't know what to read you. I really don't. I've never seen such a dull newspaper. Oh, Sam the polar bear dies at the zoo. Isn't that a shame? Hello, Dr. Clark. He's much better today.
He's a naughty man. He won't take his medicine.
He takes it from the nurse. She was in here just now.
Perhaps it's just me he won't take it from.
He's looking at you. He moved. Oh, I said he was better. Look, Dr. Clark, look. Oh, Mother will be so thrilled.
Now, don't get too excited.
But, Dr. Clark, aren't you pleased?
Very pleased. I really am. And now I think you should leave him.
Oh, not just yet. Please, just a little while. Daddy, can you look at me? Oh, Daddy!
Mary.
I hope they don't make you pay for that.
What are you doing here?
It's not a very warm welcome.
Gussie, we agreed.
I was expecting a visitor this afternoon. He never arrived.
I'm on duty. Corson's gone down with malaria.
That's an excuse, Harry. How is my husband?
He may be a little better.
Daddy, I'll fetch someone.
Doctor,
I'll go and fetch him.
What is he babbling about?
Mother, he's talking, trying to tell us
Nonsense,
something.
darling.
He's having an attack. I'll fetch a nurse.
No, get something. Do it yourself.
Kill.
Mary, come along.
But, Mummy.
Please, wait outside, Mary. Just a little spasm, Edward. Just a spasm, that's all. Soon everything will be all right. You'll be at peace, and we'll all be happy. You want me to be happy, don't you? You always wanted that.
Kill. Kill.
Mary, you must be very brave. You both got to be very brave. Darling, don't. It was a bad attack, darling. The doctor could do no more. Your father's out of pain and at rest. Come, I'll take you home. Come on, there's no point. I shall need your help. There are things to arrange. I want you to help me. Thank you, Doctor. I'll thank you properly another time.
over my fingers. It's just like being back at school.
You needn't do any more, dear.
Lady Arkwright says you don't write to people thanking them for wreaths. It's not correct.
Lady Arkwright is highly bred and so naturally rude.
Oh, Dr. Clark is here to see you. Hello, Dr. Clark. How nice to see you.
Afternoon, Mary.
You find her pretty?
Yes, she is, isn't she? You're usually pleased to see me.
Pleased? That's a little word. I love to see you.
How long will she be gone?
I didn't tell her to be long.
She'll be back at school soon.
Will she?
And life will be wonderful. We'll be able to see each other and meet each other. Gussie.
Now it's your turn. Mrs. Harry Clark.
What about her?
Mrs. Harry Clark.
Gussie.
Dr. and Mrs. Harry Clark. That's why we did it, my darling. Oh, you can't use poison, of course. People might suspect.
Gussie, you're insane. It's never entered my head. Cake's never done us any harm.
You don't love me enough.
I do love you, but... I thought for a moment you meant it.
Of course I didn't mean it. It was a joke. You know how I love to joke.
Gussie.
Don't. Not until everything is settled.
Settled?
Everything. It's been lovely to see you, but you must go now. I have a great deal to do.
More important things than...
And there's all the time in the world.
I can't see you tomorrow.
That's all right.
I have to go to Agra.
Have a good trip. Au revoir, my darling.
I don't understand you.
I'm very simple. And very patient.
How long will you be in Agra?
Tonight and tomorrow.
What's it for?
An operation. They want me to do the anesthetic.
To put people to sleep. Oh, what a marvellous job. Do you want a drink? You used to keep up with me. It's depressing when one's drinking companion takes up morality. Harry, can't we talk? We never do.
What about?
Your woman. Does she make you happy?
Most of the time.
Well, most of the time is better than some of the time. Do you want to marry her?
I told you she's not free.
She is. I know her. I read one of her letters. Only one. Even I, inquisitive busybody that I am, couldn't read any more. Her husband died. You love each other. If you want to be free, you've only got to ask. After all, I don't find you exactly attentive.
It's a tragedy, isn't it?
What?
We don't love each other.
Tragedy? That's far too strong. I think of it as a sad comedy.
She frightens me sometimes.
Does it stop you loving her?
No.
Well then, think about it while you're away in Agra. Away from both of us. And when you come back, ask me.
She's not here.
No matter. It's you I came to see.
Me?
Yes. Strict orders from Mrs. Tufnell to invite you to tea, Tuesday. You're not going back yet, are you?
Oh, no, not till the end of the month.
Good, that's settled then. Of course, she only wants to show off her garden, you know. She's potty, but it keeps her happy. Funny way to spend your life, growing roses and lavender in India, eh?
Was that what you wanted to see me about?
Yeah. Well, there was one other little thing. I was talking to matron at the hospital. She's telling me there's some powders missing. A whole box of them.
I'm not surprised. I thought it an odd sort of place.
I just wondered if they were the same ones your father used to take.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and I'm only here in the holidays.
Overton's, they're called. Overton's tonic powders.
Well, I haven't seen any since I've been home.
You couldn't find out for me, could you?
If there were any left, Mother probably threw them away. I know Dr. Fisher only gave her a few at a time.
Could they be in the kitchen, perhaps?
All right, I'll have a look.
It's not important, of course. It's a routine thing.
This is usually locked.
Huh?
Mother,
Go back to bed, Mary.
can't you sleep? Mr. Tufnell was here earlier. He was
Go
asking
back
me
to
things.
bed, Mary. Tell me in the morning.
Who's there?
Mrs. Harry Clark.
Mrs. Clark, are you all right?
Door's open. You there, Mrs. Clark?
I don't think it can have been her.
Mrs. Clark.
Bertie! Look.
God.
You know, if I lived to be 100, I could never describe it.
Oh, do try, Mrs. Tufnell.
Well, we were playing dummy, the three of us, and we heard this hideous noise.
Don't forget the sugar, Mary.
And when we found her face, well, we knew it must be her, but you couldn't really tell. It was an awful sight.
Oh, don't. Poor woman.
And poor man.
Oh, he's hurrying back from Agra. My husband sent a runner.
One must feel pity for him. They say it was a burglar.
Oh, yes, she must have disturbed the burglar at it.
I expect Dr. Clark will go away now. I expect he'll pack up his things and leave.
But why? When his work is here. When Edward... I always thought him a most dedicated doctor.
Are you all right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, you're thinking of your poor dear Edward again. I know when my George
Excuse me a moment.
died.
Mary, please look after him.
Of course, my husband took charge immediately. It was a tower of strength at times.
Gussie.
What are you doing here?
Gussie, I had to come. She's dead.
I know. They've been talking of nothing else. It was a burglar.
Inspector Tutnell's been all over the bungalow, prying and asking questions.
But why? He can't blame you. You weren't even here. He doesn't know anything about us.
He does.
He can't. We've been so careful. Harry, tell me.
He's found your letters.
But you destroyed them. I told you to burn them.
I couldn't. They were part of you. I loved them as I love you.
My letters. He's read my letters. Infatuation. I'll say it was just an infatuation long since over, before Edward was even ill.
I wasn't here before.
Now think of something. I've managed so far. Nothing will stop us now. Better go. Don't let anybody see you.
The Commissioner himself admitted that moral slackness brings this kind of crime to the fore.
This cup is empty, Mary. Whatever am I going to do with you?
Not me, thank you.
Oh, I'm tired of unhappy things. Police, murder. Let's tell fortunes.
Oh, yes, why don't you? Yes, please, though my husband doesn't approve.
No one believes in all that nonsense.
Please, Lady Arkwright.
I don't mind. Have you the cards, Augusta?
No wonder men think us such fools.
Let the men go on thinking it. They never have any fun. At school, they say it's the men who have all the fun and the women who pay. I stopped taking notice of school teachers when I was 11.
Oh, shush, Sylvia, you'll corrupt the girl.
India will do that for her. My husband thinks children shouldn't be out here.
Me. Do me first.
Now, you know my rule. Potluck first, just to test the vibrations.
Mother?
Mary, let Lady Arkwright finish. We're all interested in the future.
Mother, who's that?
Oh, dear, I don't like the look of this at all.
What is it?
Oh, hush.
It's just a beggar. I'll see to it.
Just look at that. Love. I've never seen so much love.
Oh, good. Is it me?
Can't be you, dear. You're married.
Is this the lady?
Whatever do you mean, Bertie?
Dr. Fisher exhumed your husband's body this morning.
Exhumed? You mean dug up? How dare you without my permission?
He found enough arsenic in Edward's body to kill a dozen men.
Arsenic? Bertie, have you taken leave of your senses? And what is Dr. Clark doing here? Is he mixed up in this sordid affair?
Won't you tell me? I know that Dr. Fisher stopped Edward taking Overton's powders.
Powders? I don't know what you're talking about. I was his wife, not his nurse.
There are a box of powders missing from the hospital. You took them, didn't you?
Dr. Clark gave them to me. He thought they might do him some good.
It was also reported to me this morning that this old man had considerably more money than usual.
What do I know about his money? I've never even seen him, I'm sure of that.
Augusta and Edward, 17th of September, 1885. You were married a long time.
You had her killed. You killed her.
Talk nonsense.
You killed Kate. Kate
I'm
was...
not saying anything.
A lot to say, Gussie.
Let go of me. Bertie, where are you taking me?
Gussie, don't you understand?
Don't call me Gussie. I hardly know you.
It's too late. We're going to hang. And I'm not sure that I'm mine.
Hang? You think so?
The evidence, Gussie, the evidence.
Evidence? I spit on your evidence.
Take her down to the station. I'll be along shortly.
You can hang him, but you can't hang me. I know. I'm not an ignorant Indian. I know the law. You can't hang a pregnant woman. And I'm pregnant.
Did I hear her right?
She can't be pregnant.
Oh, she's too old.
Bertie.
You please leave us, ladies.
But Inspector!
Bertie, you can't expect Lady Arkwright.
Please get out.
I've never been so insulted in all my life.